Okay, so once you've returned that back to your AP, sometimes your lines will be off, so then you have to just kind of recenter and just to make sure you're where you want to be. Okay, just like that. Now you're back on there. Again, you want those lines very nice and crisp. Then you're going to go back to your oblique just as a check. Make sure you're still on.
Good.
Nice right through the center. And then check your AP once more. Nice and centered. When you switch these around from screen to screen, you want to make sure that the ball of the target is no more than a 1/4 inch separate on the screens. So I put my finger on there just to make sure, because if it's too far apart, you're not necessarily going to be in the treatment zone. So just make sure that that is close. That's pretty much it on how to set the machine up and get it lined up. When you are actually lined up and ready to go, you want to, when you're putting the patient on the table, you don't want to stand next to the C-arm, because if you bump it or if the patient pulls on it or anything, you can take it actually out of alignment. Not a good idea, because it's really even more difficult to realign your C-arm when the patient's on the table. So when you're putting the patient on the table, make sure they don't pull on it. Emphasize, please don't touch it. And for yourselves, try to make sure that you're not against it, because even a little bit of a push can get it out of alignment. So once all your locks are on, I usually take a white cloth, put it over the raising and lowering of the buttons on the C-arm, so when you go to touch it, it's wet. You know, you're not supposed to be touching that part. Because from everything else, you run on your control panel. Of course, your control panel is different, but all the table movements and everything is where you start running from there. So that's pretty much the setup of the equipment. I'm sure you'll have questions. Steve will answer those questions when he's over there. So we'll move on to the next portion. So we'll try and get this one started. Okay, here we go.
Stop. This one.